if you want to close more clients in 2026, then you have to have a proper system on where those leads go. And in this video, I'm going to show you how to build a proper lead tracking system, full end-to-end tutorial with the template down in the description. So if you don't want to follow it yourself or build along, then you can just download it and use it from the beginning. So if you're using Notion, get rid of Notion. If you use anything else that isn't as established as this, you build this system, right? ClickUp is free for the most part if you don't have a very big plan, and I'm going to build you a full system which is going to generate you more money, right? And if you don't know who I am, my name is Maxi. I'm the co-founder of Well-Design, and I have helped scale 50 plus companies and agencies at this point with ClickUp, with One Day, and with different types of operations and systems. And in this case, if you're not collecting your leads, then you're losing a bunch of money. And the reason I want to do this video today is because I have struggled with this massively myself. And I realized once I've started tracking my leads, that's when you close the most leads, because most of the time I have potential prospects, I just don't nurture them good enough. So we're going to start off by signing into ClickUp, and we're going to start with creating a brand new space. In this case, just for examples, let's call it a lead, or let's CRM, right? And in this space, okay, let's not call it CRM. Let's just use an old space, and then we create a folder called leads, or just like pipeline. I think is a good way to soak pipeline. And then we're going to change the name in here to leads. And remember, if you don't want to follow along, if you don't want to build this whole entire thing yourself, you can still download the template down below, and I will show you how to do that as well. Now, the most important part is to have a couple of lists, active leads, and I want to have a list called completed leads. I'm going to make this on private. I'm going to add, let's say, priority I can remove. I don't like having a drop down. Source. So lead source, this you have to create yourself. I do have existing lead source. So the first lead is going to be myself, right? In here, in the right lane, you're going to track the client, and lead source, it's LinkedIn, TikTok, ads. Let's make this more tailored to my specific style. Remove, 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 remove. I'm going to have referral, definitely. I like to have it, let's say, light blue. Even lighter, to be honest, like super, super bright. I'm going to do cold email because that's something I do myself. So cold email. I'm going to make that darker blue. Then we're going to have LinkedIn. LinkedIn inbound is worth mentioning. Slightly, I'm just going to take this color. I like to keep my stuff like quite minimalistic. It just looks cleaner and easy to work with. Slightly more darker than the referrer. Then I'm going to do LinkedIn outbound, because there is a huge difference of getting clients inbound and outbound. I'm going to add that just above. I'm going to copy paste the current style. Copy paste, take the color and make it even more darker. Just slightly. So I have refer, LinkedIn inbound and outbound. I also get cold email. Upwork is the main source for me. I'm going to make Upwork very dark. Right? That's some good lead sources. What else? So, cold email, LinkedIn inbound, LinkedIn outbound, Upwork. Let's also do communities. It's worth shot. I'm going to make communities probably just above the LinkedIn outbound, and I just remove the color. And the reason I do it like this is because it's nice to have and not to have just a bunch of mixed colors. If you have very like major platforms, so let's say you do Google ads, you do Facebook ads, or like meta ads, then just have like two very bright colors. In this case, I'll have like stages of the request. So I'm going to move this. I'm going to make it just darker, going down. Perfect. Collab communities, I believe it's just above here. So I'm going to take this one and I'm going to take same color and make it even more bright. So like this. Maybe if I do this in a different way. Let's do stuff I can't control. So referring to inbound YouTube. Let's make those colors. So outbound move. Okay, nice. Let's do it like this instead. LinkedIn inbound. And the reason I split them up like this, I'm going to show you. I'm going to have the other one green, I believe. I think green is the best color here. I'm going to have very light green. Like this. Communities. Because technically, even though you can't really adjust the amount of volume you're getting through inbound. But you can adjust the volume you get from outbound, right? So like, you can always control the outcome of outbound, but not inbound. And that's why I want to switch them up, because it's good to know in a very clear way here. I feel like those is enough. Upper collision communities, LinkedIn outbound, LinkedIn inbound, YouTube. Yeah, that's probably it, right? So the first thing I want to do is contact name. So contact, let's say, do I have a contact name? Main contact name. This is going to be the main contact name. So my name. Then let's say low click. I'm going to assign myself because I'm the one taking care of the lead. We also want a phone number from the email. Sometimes not. I personally don't use phone numbers because I usually just use email, Upwork, Slack, and so on. But if you do, add a contact phone number, which in my case is important, right? So if you have the possibility, add contact phone number. I'm just going to do email because that's my main source of communication. So maxi@flowclick.com. I'm going to also have important stuff such as location. Something I do worth mentioning is instead of location, let's actually use text, time zone, or let's just do a drop down, to be honest. I think drop down is more time zone. And GMT +1. Or just GMT or EST. Obviously, I know what the hours are based on my location, but let's just call it my location is GMT +1, okay? And the reason why I have time zones, because for me, it's quite important to know when to follow up with the client the most optimal time. Because if they're asleep, then what's the point of following up, right? We want to follow up when they are working. Highest chance of seeing it, right? So lead source, let's say I got this client from communities, or let's say YouTube. Time zone, lead source, what else do I have in the other lists? I have notes, lead source, prototype, ad budget, date created. Right. Those are our important ones. So I'm going to change this icon to a contact person. I'm going to add a called last touchpoint date. For me, this is super important, very, very important to have. And I'm going to create an automation, actually just now. So when let's finish up the statuses as well. So we're going to have different statuses. So in short, we're going to have custom. We're going to have one. We're going to have lost. We're going to have to contact. We're going to have contacted. 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 Right? In here we have, I believe, from previous lists, we have contacted in conversation, right? That's important. Proposal sent with reply, qualified, okay. So we're going to have in conversation is a good one to have, for sure. In conversation. Let's make it yellow. Let's also do qualified, which should be a brighter green than the one, in my opinion. Then unqualified, red, save. I make this even also less. This maybe. Qualified, unqualified, maybe make this even a tiny bit darker. It's too bright. So we're going to have contacted, in conversation, qualified, unqualified. I'm going to put unqualified here. Actually, let's do it like this. Quality or qualified. Quality. Let's just write quality. We're going to say qualified and unqualified. I'm going to make this green, make this red. And then we can remove from here. I'm going to tell the automation, I'm going to create some automation on this soon, so it makes sense. Qualified, send proposal. I like to add this red because it's quite urgent. Proposal sent. Let's say purple maybe. And then let's do awaiting follow-up. I like to have this a darker color. I like very dark. Follow-up. And then lastly, I'm going to have something like meeting booked in there. And then, yeah. So, in short, also let's touch rotate. And the reason why we have like meeting booked, then we can just have due date. Okay, in 2 days, that's when the meeting is booked. Now, automations worth touching on. If last date let's say date is before after. If it has been 3 days after and the custom field is, or status instead, is any of contacting conversation process and send follow-up, right? So if any of those are done and you haven't chatted for 3 days, then we're going to have another follow-up, change status to follow-up. So this means once you haven't talked with the lead for 3 days, if it's like in conversation, it changes the status to change to follow-up. So every time it has been longer than 3 days, you have to follow up with the client. And in some cases, worth mentioning, is that I'm going to add another status actually. one more status called waiting for follow-up. And the reason I have this, because sometimes they say like, hey, let's wait for this. Let's take it next week, right? And it has to be like 3 days. So if I had like wait to follow up, then it won't notify you and change it. Quality, let's say qualified, very straightforward. And generally speaking, that's most of what they need to do. Now we have to create some automations around it. So lead source, prototype, I don't need this. Point of contact, I don't need that because that's what we're telling by the lead source often. Contact address, delivery, touchpoint date, time to start. Okay, so I'm going to have some further integrations. I'm going to have the main thing here, just a double checker. Lead source, ad budget, date created. That's what I wanted. Great. So date created. They will know. So how long has this been client in the pipeline? And then we can basically, I like to have most of the stuff available because it's quite nice to know. For like quality, unqualified, and okay. Now, so some automations around it, right? So if we have not talked with the clients for over 3 days, change status to follow up, right? Straightforward, save. Automation, when custom field changes to quality to unqualified, change status to lost. And the reason I do this is sometimes, let's say we are not a client, and I move it to, let's say in this case, lost. I want to have this list called completed leads. Filter by status is by one lost, save view. I'm going to remove priority. I'm going to add the due date. Let me actually just do this instead. Duplicate view, list. And we can just remove this. Completed list. And then filter, status, and if done. In short, you can see very easily, but also if we now decide to have this client in unqualified, right, and have this client in qualified, we can very easily see group by status. We can very easily, okay, did we lose because the client was lost, right? It's lost. But was it because it was unqualified? Unqualified. Because sometimes you will lose or kind of lose the potential client just because they weren't the right fit for you. And that's worth mentioning, right? Because there's a huge difference of, hey, we had 10 leads this week, right? 10 leads. But if 8 of them were unqualified, then you actually only had 2 leads. So it's very good to know of what leads were qualified and unqualified. And very easily we have 2 lists here. And in this case, I'm going to have a status, which is started, done. You can see through here, right? So one list for the completed and one list for the active. Now, how do we add this list in an easy way? We're going to create a form, which I'm going to call project intake form. Let's just call it lead intake form. I'm going to list. I'm going to add client company name. Now, let's make this even more detailed. Let's add much more stuff. Let me just add a task. And let's actually make this much more detailed. Website, we add LinkedIn. We add company I'm just going to hide these feeds so it's not like it's not too much. Hide, hide. I don't need either. Hide, hide. Yeah, I feel like that's enough. Contact email maybe not needed at times. Like this probably. Right? So I'm going to use the lead intake form. I'm going to just maybe add my logo. So I've added just to make it look a bit nicer, I'm going to press here, search images, pattern. Let's add this one. Very straightforward. Client company name. Just remove this. I don't need to know that. This I don't need to know either. Remove. 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 Okay. So what stuff do we need to know? Well, I wonder if, yeah. So we're going to have lead source. We're going to have status. We're going to have, what else do we need? Time zone. I want the quality. Quality is not needed at the moment, but probably we won't know until we add them, right? Priority, nah. Contact email. Website. Yeah, I think that's it. Maybe, yeah, company name. We're going to need LinkedIn. And then main contact. I think those are it. Right, long text, right. Last touchpoint date. And let's say due date as well. Purity, quality. Yeah, nice. So, let's put in active leads. Let's put this. Let's put in the dashboard in. Just, it's good to know. Let's use a simple dashboard. Private view, task management. And then let's create further automations. So it's just if lead is unqualified, move to status lost. Simple. Add that. Follow up and set date, due date on the date it triggers. Okay, save. Nice. So, in short, let's say I get leads. So I'm just going to use this form. I'm going to probably copy this. I'm going to have it saved in my bookmark bar. I have it there. Save it at the top maybe or somewhere, right? And then every time I get a lead, I very easily just, okay, company name, well designed. Lead source is from referral. Status, let's say I've already contacted them. Sometimes you will actually do it later down the line. Now, obviously, make sure to add all the stuff you need to have here. I'm just going to keep it first time zone, contact email, right, website, company name. You can name this whatever you want. Let's say well-designed AI department or well-designed, let's say, like Amazon customer support department. It's still going to be like Amazon, right? Amazon.com, diff at Amazon.com, LinkedIn, LinkedIn.com/Amazon, right? Contact name, Jeff Bezos. I talked with them actually yesterday. I just forgot to add them. Due date, let's say I want to follow up with them on Wednesday, right? Or like Friday, whatever. Let's just put Wednesday. Submit. And very easily, I can still keep submitting the same form by updating. And then I will have that specific lead in the active leads list. And that's how you start tracking the leads, right? Step by step, you update it. Oh, I haven't assigned myself now, and you can add that as well if you want to. I'm just adding a. Honestly, I could probably just remove that part. I don't need the assign. If you're a bigger team, of course, make that get done. In this case, I'm just going to remove it because I don't need it. And yeah, very, very straightforward. Do I still have myself assigned? Like this, perfect. So, in short, that's how you do it. Very, very straightforward. Quality, we don't know yet. We don't know if it's qualified or unqualified. But that's basically how you do it, right? You add it to the contacted. Okay, next stage, in conversation. I'm also going to add another link URL. Let's actually just search for website. Quiveler link. So this is going to be my proposal link. It's good for me to keep track of as well, right? So super straightforward. We add lists, we move them step by step, and soon you'll have a massive pipeline of potential prospects. And that's basically how we track everything in ClickUp. Very straightforward. You create a proper list. And the most important part here, honestly, I'm sorry, I'm a bit sick. Honestly, the most important part here is to make sure to update this specific list on a frequent basis. So day by day, you update, you improve, and you make this better. And that's how you actually create a proper lead tracking system. So obviously you can make this even further. So let's say automation once client has status has been. Sky's the limit. I always say this with every ClickUp system I build. You can add a bunch of stuff. I'm going to make this simple for you guys to understand. So when status is 1, we move to list, move to the CRM active clients list. Right. So in this case, I'm going to active clients. Oh, sure. Yeah, it won't trigger anyways. Let's just put to. That won't matter, right? Done. So when I now do this, I press on I won the client. Very nice. It goes to the active client. You will see it here. Amazon, Jeff Bezos, customer support. Doesn't that look nice? And obviously, if you want, you can add like the same field so it matches. Now I just add the contact email and website. But if you want, you can see the lead source as well. But if you want, you can add, of course, everything else that you got from the other site. So if you need like, hey, let's get company name, contact name, and everything is around it, just add it very straightforward by just creating a field or add a field from workspace, and you can find the pipeline, leads. You see, we have everything here. We add those, bam, bam, everything else. Create, add existing field. Very straightforward, right? And now we will have the rest of the fields as well once you move the same client back. Did I add a field? I don't think I did. Right, so you just press on add field from workspace. I forgot to add them now. Pipeline, leads. We pick all the fields which we want to add. And then we, maybe it's create a new field. Add existing field. Right. Yeah, there's a ton here. So just add whatever you want. You can see this one has already been added. I have it in here. So in short, you can see that if we now just search for, yeah, it will be here anyway. Just add it like this. Very straightforward, right? And that's how you move it. Super straightforward. Hope this makes sense. And of course, try it for yourself. Start tracking all the leads. And trust me, it will make a huge difference in your business. If you ever need help with ClickUp, just reach out. I'm happy to help you out. I also have a newsletter on like weekly tips on how to build proper systems. I have a ton of different stuff I've built before on different systems, workflows, how I think, structure, done like from end-to-end pipelines, how to actually win, you will win leads, and so on. So if you're excited to see more content, I have a proper build coming out this week on how to build a full on system for an SEO and web design agency. Everything when it comes to automation, so it's going to be a longer one. So stay subscribed if you're interested, let me know, and hope you have a wonderful day.